All right, guys, let's talk about Ariel Helwani for 1 minute, and please forget about the bad things you've heard about him for the time being. I'm going to quickly explain why that if you are somebody who's into self-improvement or you have big goals in life or you inspire to be an entrepreneur, why Ariel is an exceptional example of grit and perseverance and why you should be inspired by him. Many people are inspired by the fighters, in particular with regard to the MMA world, but Ariel himself is very admirable. I'm going to explain why here in 1 second. In a quick disclaimer, I'm not going to sit here and say he's the most moral guy. And also, I wanted to note that all these things I'm about to endorse in him could just be a thing because he's a psychopath who is calm and collected. And I have no idea if that's true or not, but let's get into it. I'll play some clips for y'all in a second to go along with what I'm saying. So, first, I'm going to talk about why Ariel is a tough cookie mentally. I know you've all seen the videos of Ariel and how people react to him. And no lie, I have seen so many interactions of Ariel actually being bullied by these MMA fighters who could potentially kill him if they wanted to. And yet, he's still the same guy who's asking all these hard hitting questions. And not only does Ariel get harassed by fighters, but Ariel and Dana have a pretty rocky relationship. And there have been times that Ariel's actually been banned from reporting in the UFC events. For an independent journalist to have beef with the guy who owns the business of the sport that you are a journalist for, and you keep going, and at the same time, there are fighters who literally bully you, right? And a lot of them who are very open about their disapproval of you. Now, try to think about people that you know that could mentally survive this type of environment, and not only survive, but actually be the lead journalist and lead the industry that he's in. Most people would have far too much social anxiety to go up against people like this. And then you even have a lot of other people who could not continue to do this, let alone thrive. I'm going to play some clips I found for those who haven't seen it so I can better show you what Ariel deals with and overcomes. And here's some clips for those who haven't seen what I'm talking about.
We got people sneezing today.
Well, let me ask you a quick question.
No, I'm going to remember right now. Hell wrong with you?
Right over here. To your left, right.
Going to ask you why you weren't here yesterday and what happened and whose fault was it?
There you go. Thanks, Dana.
I know you, man.
Appreciate it. That was actually my question.
That's it.
What happened yesterday? Was it because of
Ariel?
Yeah.
He's here.
Okay,
He's here. He's here now.
All right.
You got any questions about the fight?
Obviously, it was a big story.
Yeah, he's
you
here.
Spoke about it.
He's here now.
It's a part of the story.
I understand. What's part of what story?
Of this fight. A lot of people are interested in watching this press conference to see if Nick was going to show up because he wasn't there yesterday. So we would.
He's here today, and I guarantee you he'll
great.
be there tomorrow at the weigh-ins.
So that's just 2 examples of this. You can find more online. The reason I'm showing you this is something that I will tie together at the end of this video. But for now, I'm going to hop to the second point I'm trying to make about him. The second lesson that I want you to consider is a lesson in the realm of entrepreneurship. And once again, I'll tie it together in the end. I'm going to tell you how he got his start and what that means for him. But this dude essentially carved out a path for him. So he started out in the Syracuse School of Journaling. He knew from a young age he wanted to do sports broadcasting. One thing he noted was his classmates wanted to cover the mainstream sports at the time because this was before MMA was as big as it is today. But right there and then, he decided that he was going to be the best MMA journalist in the world. It took some time to get started because at first he had some internships. They didn't end up working out. But he went on to start his own MMA broadcasting business. And one thing led to another. And eventually he had a big fan base for his own broadcasting show, which in turn got him recognized by a bigger company, and they ended up taking him in. I'm telling you these things because I want you to note that he did something that was against the norm, and he started something on his own. No one around him in his school was thinking about doing what he was doing, and there wasn't many people in general who are trying to do what he wants to do. And instead of waiting for an opportunity, he created one himself. So he was both confident enough to go his own way, and he was bold enough to create his own opportunity. I know it's very common for people to have task paralysis, or maybe they have this idea that they want to start, but something tells them that it's unrealistic in their head, so they don't. But you'll have to overcome that if you ever truly want to do what your idea is. So to sum it up, all I wanted you guys to get out of this was the importance of grit and perseverance. And I just wanted to show you a good example of this. You have a guy who, over the years, has faced a lot of social conflict and situations where most people would think are humiliating, and he continues to stay at the top of his profession. To this day, he remains as the top journalist for the MMA community. And he also shows that you can do that idea that you want to do. You can open that business or start that podcast. Whatever it may be, you just need to have the grit and the self-belief to do it. And again, this has nothing to do with his moral integrity, but you got to admit, the point I'm making is there. And if you still don't believe me, take it from Ariel himself. Peace.
Question for Connor. How are you, Connor? You know, I'm wondering if after